Good morning. This is the voting meeting before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Thursday, February 16th, 2023. While the public is encouraged to attend, there will be no additional public testimony accepted today. Begin with the license premise inspection hearing, which occurred on Tuesday, February 14th, 2023. Item number 1, J.J. Donovan, Inc., doing business as Donovan's Tavern, located at 27 Clinton Street. Dated the incident December 4th, 2022. Assault and battery, patron on patron, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A, and failure to notify police in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.14B.
Thanks, Danny. I'll start. This was a really hard one. I was able to review the videos several times. This is an example of where I think the video is very helpful in our deliberation and in our decision making. I had a lot of questions at the hearing on Tuesday as to the responsibility of the bartender and the doorman and whether or not they should have or could have done more. After reviewing the videos, perhaps they should have called the police or could have called the police, but I don't really think there was an opportunity for them to really foresee what was going to happen. Perhaps they could have taken more actions to remove the man in the blazer from the area. That man was a complete menace to the people outside the bar. He was a menace to the staff. And I believe it was the actions of this one man that caused this unfortunate incident, and he wasn't even the assailant. He put a person into a headlock inside the bar and was immediately removed. He tried to get back in, and he was immediately removed again. The bartender and the doorman seemed to be in complete control of the situation inside the entire evening. Made a decision to close early. I don't believe there was anything else that the licensee could have done to have foreseen what ended up being a terrible battery at the end of the evening. So for those reasons, I do not see a violation on the part of the licensee.
I second your sentiment that it was a tough one. I think there was a lot of close calls throughout the time that this all kind of transpired. I feel pretty much the same way. Should they have called the police? I don't know if it was what was happening with regard to the first fight was so bad that they, it was a violation to have not called the police. They could have called the police. Maybe if they called the police, things might have been a little bit different, but I think that's far too speculative, really. What was happening was carrying on, but it wasn't so violent or vicious kind of. The man in the suit wasn't, carrying on in this way that was oh, he's definitely going to do something super violent or something like that. And he ended up not doing anything to that degree. It was this other third party that no one could have known. If you watch him, there's no reason to believe that he would do something as really bizarre as this. I mean, it was a bizarre watching him walk down the street and grab this older gentleman by the back and throw him to the ground was just, I couldn't make any sense of it. Like I said, with regard to failure to notify the police with the second incident, I think the evidence shows that somebody was on the phone even before Mr. Steele was thrown to the ground. So I think that was credible that they said that someone was already calling the police. So we had kind of two instances where they could have called the police, and for two different reasons, I really wasn't able to find a violation. Finally, with regard to the assault and battery, I mean, what I'm evaluating is the assault and battery of Mr. Steele, not any assault and battery that happened between the man in the suit and the third party who went in the other direction. Really, that fight, the first fight that happened, it was over. I saw a couple things in there with regard to the doorman. I think he should be on notice for. I didn't love I think the third time that the man in the suit goes after that guy, he was nowhere to be found. No one had eyes on it. I think maybe if they were written up for that, that's where I would have found the violation. I think that was the one clear, really failure on the part of the bar. But that's really not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the assault and battery of Mr. Steele. And really, when it comes down to it, is the person who battered him there was no indication that he was a danger to anyone. And I don't think that the overall situation was so out of control that it was foreseeable that something like that would happen. There's other situations you can see where it's so crazy that you can see a third party getting caught up in like the crossfire. This wasn't that situation as far as I saw. So lots of close calls, but I didn't get over the line on any of this stuff. So that's where I was at with how, what they were written up for. So I found no violation either.
Commissioner Saxon?
I did not find a violation either. I did watch the video. I think if there was anything that we could, I guess, sending correspondence about just making sure that the dispersal plan includes removing the problem parties, like literally out of the way. I mean, we've had some other matters where we've asked that they not just be removed from the premises, but they be removed from the area, because we know that they were causing a problem, not just inside, but also outside. So there were a couple of incidences where the doorman didn't see exactly what went on. I think like the kick, he didn't see the kick, but he did see some things happening outside. So he could have actually had them to go like, out of eyesight or just away. And I think maybe that could have, but who knows? I mean, the actual incident just happened out of the blue by a perpetrator that just wasn't in the melee at all before. So, but maybe just some correspondence about just removing the problem parties away from the area.
I would have no problem with some sort of correspondence, just to say that I think we all saw things that were somewhat concerning, but maybe didn't get to the level of an actual violation.
And I think that the correspondence could also include calling the police, even if there's doubt as to the level of the actual altercation. It's not really up to the bar to say, oh, well, that altercation wasn't as violent as some other altercations. Just call the police when in doubt.
So just to kind of sum up what we've discussed here, I think I'm going to make a motion. The motion is to find no violation for the assault and battery and no violation for failure to notify the police, but correspondence from the board asking the licensee to submit a written dispersal plan that includes acknowledgement that they should attempt to remove people from the general premise, not just the front door, general area of the premise, not just the front door.
Yeah, and just that's their, there's a certain area that we expect them to police. It's not, doesn't have to be right in front of their front door. So they made a point to say, it happened this far down, and maybe it was far enough away, but I think it's, it was right on that line. The guy in the suit wasn't quite, I mean, he was far enough away from the original combatant, but yeah. He was still, like you said, he was a bit menacing. He still was a potential problem. But in the end, he wasn't the batterer of Mr. Steele. So I think if he had been, we might be talking about a different outcome here for as far as our decision. But that's not what happened. So.
And I think he was such a menace, even his own friends were concerned that he was going to end up causing more of an issue, and perhaps that's why the assailant went to sort of break up what was a fight. So that is my motion.
Yeah, I think I'm right there. Yep.
Okay.
I agree as well.
Thank you. So just to sum up what the vote is, it sounds like it is a no violation on either of the counts, with a correspondence from the board reminding the licensee of their requirement to monitor the outside of their premise, to call the police in situations like this, and requesting a written dispersal plan from the licensee as well. Did that sum everything up? Thank you. Item number 2, Old Colonial Corporation doing business as the Bell in Hand, located at 45 to 55 Union Street. Date of the incident, October 8th, 2022. Patron on patron assault and battery in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
I didn't find any violation here.
I did not either.
None.
Item number 3, Big Night Venues Boston 2 LLC doing business as Empire, located at 1 Marina Park Drive. Date of the incident, November 13th, 2022, assault and battery patron on employee in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
I found no violation.
I did, same for me.
Item number 4, 1260 Boylston Street LLC, doing business as Sojuba, located at 1265 Boylston Street. Date of the incident, October 2nd, 2022. Assault and battery, patron on patron, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
I see no violation here.
I agree.
No violation.
Items 5 and 6 are from the same incident. Paga Inc. doing business as Nick's Venue, located at 100 Warrenton Street. Date of the incident was October 28th, 2022. Item 5, failure to ID patrons properly with a Colombian license in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. And item 6, person under 21 in possession of alcohol on premise in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 34A, 34C, and 6464A.
So taking these two together, the first one alone, I don't see as a violation. However, I do see a violation for the second one, person under 21 in possession. To me, that's a clear violation. I found the testimony confusing as to what they accept and don't accept. And my request is that not only do they retrain the staff, but they submit something in writing that explains to the board what they do accept for identification.
I felt like the facts were so close that, I mean, if they were only written up for one failure ID properly, I might have said yes, but I feel like it's like double hitting into the exact same thing that they did. So I think the proper one, I guess, you know, it's like a lesser included charge, I guess. So I think it's only proper to find them in violation for the person in possession. That's why I don't think they ID'd properly, but that led to the underage person being in possession. So that's where I'm at with that.
I agree with Commissioner Curran.
Okay, so once again, so no violation on item 5. There is a violation on item 6. That's correct.
Yes.
To the disposition of item 6.
Yes.
Do we have history recent with?
We do not.
Nothing since 2017.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
So a written warning with a request for a written plan on staff training and identification of patrons.
Sounds good.
I agree.
Violation, written warning, and licensee is to submit a plan on retraining staff on how to identify patrons properly. Item 7, Castaneda Gomez Corporation, doing business as La Fonda Colombiana, located at 972 to 974 Saratoga Street in East Boston. Dated the incident October 16th, 2022. Bottle service violation, premise conducting bottle service without permission in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64.
I see no violation. I was persuaded by the detective's testimony that this was just one table. That together with the testimony that they were showing some of the bottle. There was no promoter involved. I see no violation.
Sounds good.
I agree.
Item number 8, 934 Inc. doing business as the Banshee, located at 934 Dorchester Ave in Dorchester. Dated the incident November 27th, 2022. Person under 21 in possession of alcohol in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 34.
I see a violation.
I saw no violation.
Okay.
I was persuaded by the quality of it being a Massachusetts ID. They ID'd the person. They were 20 and a half. I was willing to say reasonable reliance. I know it was fake ultimately, but
I think I missed it was a Massachusetts ID. It was a Massachusetts ID.
It was a fake Massachusetts ID. Yeah.
Okay.
And they said it looked real, and I was persuaded enough to say it was close enough to say it. It wasn't like they were doing nothing. I mean, he remembered that he had ID'd this person. He was sure of it. Yeah, I was in no violation on this one.
Okay, I think you make a good point. The board would not, it's not a defense that it's a good ID if it's out of state, but I think for Massachusetts, it's a different level of scrutiny that's applied, and based upon the testimony, I would agree with you, Commissioner Curran.
Yeah, when I listened to it, in order to find a violation, I thought it would literally have to be strict liability. Like everyone, no matter what the facts were, you would have to find them liable if they happen to be under 21. So
I think there's an element of strict liability, but we have never really kind of followed that strict liability. We've always kind of listened to the specific facts. So
yeah, and we have the discretion to do that. So like maybe there's correspondence. I don't
Given
even
that they have no history, I think correspondence is fine.
I mean, they said they're getting the scanner and everything. So I took that into account too. I just didn't quite get there in this one.
Okay.
So the correspondence seems good.
Great. And Chairman Joyce, just to clarify, your vote is for no violation, the correspondence for the board?
I switched my vote to Commissioner Curran's vote, no violation.
No
I agree
violation,
with this.
correspondence from the board.
Yes.
Item number 9 was not heard this week and will be rescheduled to the March 7th violation hearing. Item 10, Korean Fusion Inc. doing business as Koi, located at 16 to 18 North Street, dated the incident January 14th, 2023. Overcrowding 139, found on mechanical count, capacity 52, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.03J and 1.06A and F, and premise conducting bottle service in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64.
I will begin. I see a deliberate, flagrant, clear violation on the overcrowding and on the bottle service. I was very surprised that the manager stated that a promoter wasn't being used and that she was aware of this. The pictures that were submitted to the board further emphasized that this was flagrant. They were advertising bottle service. They had a whole bottle service set up in the back. So for those reasons, I see a violation on both.
I second all of that.
I agree. Does she have an application before the board?
She does, and my recommendation is that we do not allow her to submit an application or to be considered for bottle service for 1 year.
That sounds good. This isn't the first time this happened, right? In this
No,
business?
first time we've had a written violation, but
That is correct.
I don't believe it's an excuse that you would just hope you don't get caught and apologize later and then apply. I think this is an issue throughout the city, but especially at this location recently. So instead of closing them down for 1 day, I think we would not consider this application for a year.
I think that's
And
reasonable.
also, I'd like to note that even if they had some sort of misunderstanding about being able to do bottle service, they weren't doing it in a manner that would have been in compliance with our rules if she had permission to do bottle service.
Right.
And then the overcrowding, we have a remote history on, but they've done the exact same thing in the past, really loaded this place up well past their capacity.
Yeah, so I see a violation on each individual one,
Mhm.
and my vote is for the no application for bottle service for a year.
No consideration for you.
No consideration.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. So a violation on each. As to the bottle service, no consideration of an application for bottle service for 1 year from this date. Any warning or suspension or any disposition as to the overcrowding, or is this all wrapped into one from the board?
I think a written warning on overcrowding. I don't know what their recent history is on that.
Yeah, it's not recent. It's a few years ago.
Okay, so first warning for the overcrowding.
So the board finds a violation on the overcrowding with a written warning and a violation on the bottle service with no consideration for bottle service application for 1 year.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to the transactional hearing, which occurred yesterday, Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. Item number 1, Sodexo Operations LLC doing business as Sodexo at Young Family Cafe located at 111 Francis Street has applied for a common vitular license. Manager Andrew Zalisk, hours of operation 6:30 a.m. to 9 p.m.
No, but I'm sorry. Vote to approve.
I do as well.
I agree.
Fantastic. Item number 2, RBSBW Inc. doing business as Roach Brothers Supermarkets located at 8 Summer Street has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business to Marvin Alvarez.
Thanks, Danny. I believe Mr. Alvarez has the appropriate character and fitness to serve as the manager of record of this location.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item number 3, Earl's Restaurant, Boston, Mass. Inc., doing business as Earl's Kitchen and Bar located at 800 Boylston Street, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business to Sarah Rosenstein.
I believe Ms. Rosenstein has the appropriate character and fitness to serve as manager of record at this location.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 4, Mike and Patty's JP LLC, doing business as Mike and Patty's located at 388 Center Street in Jamaica Plain, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business to Anya Zarota.
Thanks, Danny. I believe the manager has the appropriate character and fitness to serve at this location.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 5, LSF Logan Airport LLC, doing business as Legal Test Kitchen located at Logan Airport F2 Terminal A in East Boston, has petitioned to change the DBA of the licensed business to Legal Seafoods.
I vote to approve.
I do as well.
I agree.
Item 6, Food House Inc., doing business as Friendship BBQ Alston located at 103 Brighton Ave in Alston, has petitioned to change the category of the licensed business to a common victual or 7-day wines and malt beverages with liqueurs license.
I vote to approve.
I do as well.
I agree.
Item 7, Itadaki LLC, doing business as Itadaki located at 267 to 269 Newbury Street, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Pinkies Up LLC, doing business as Pinkies at the same location. Richard Sullivan, manager, closing hour 1 a.m. Has updated the description of the premise to 2,357 square feet on 1 floor in 2 rooms at the front with standing and with seating and a bar for customer with kitchen, storage and restrooms in the rear and seasonal patio on private property with seating for 48, closing hour 10 p.m. And lastly, has petitioned to pledge the license to 267 to 269 NSR LLC. I will note that the applicant has requested that the board defer the vote until they've had a chance to meet with the Neighborhood Association of the Back Bay.
That's fine, thanks.
Forward for completion of the community process. Item number 8, Las Palmas Market Inc., doing business as Las Palmas Market located at 13 Chelsea Street in East Boston, has petitioned to transfer the license to Babari Corp., doing business as Las Palmas Market at the same location. Maya Patel, manager, closing hour 11 p.m. and has petitioned to pledge the license and inventory to Rockland Trust Company.
I vote to approve the transfer and to approve the manager of record, as well as the pledge. I believe Ms. Patel has the appropriate character and fitness to serve at this location.
I agree.
Item 9, Victoria Seafood Restaurant, doing business as Victoria Seafood Restaurant located at 1029 Commonwealth Ave, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Joe's Gourmet Dining Systems, Inc., just Joe's Gourmet Systems, Inc., doing business as Victoria Seafood Restaurant at the same location. Jian Bing Shu, manager, 1 a.m. closing hour.
I vote to approve the transfer and I vote to approve Ms. Zhu as the manager of record at this location. I believe she has the appropriate character and fitness to serve.
I vote to approve as well.
Item 10, Brook Egg Farm Inc., doing business as Loconti's located at 116 Salem Street, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Loconti's Boston Inc., doing business as Loconti's at the same location. Andrew Corbin, manager, 11 p.m. closing hour.
I vote to approve the transfer and to approve Mr. Corbin as the manager of record. I believe he has the appropriate character and fitness to serve.
I agree.
Item 11, Our Father's Deli LLC, doing business as Our Father's Deli, located at 197 North Harvard Street in Alston, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Fork and Knife LLC, doing business as Sloan's at the same location. Mackenzie Dame, manager, closing hour 2 a.m. Has updated the description of premise to in 1 large room on ground floor with dining areas and bar, together with additional seating in second room, kitchen, restrooms, and storage, seasonal April to November outdoor patio on private property of 80 square feet with additional seating for 20 patrons, 2 a.m. interior closing, 11 p.m. patio closing hour, and has petitioned to pledge the license to Barry's Corner Property LLC.
I vote to approve the transfer and to approve Ms. Dame as the manager of record. I believe she has the appropriate character and fitness to serve at this location. The testimony was that only 10% of their sales would be for takeout or delivery by third-party apps. I'm going to request, just so we can take a look at this issue in this neighborhood and others, request they submit in writing a plan as to how they're going to deal with these third-party delivery apps. So we have it as part of the record.
Sounds good.
I agree.
Item 12, 88 Beach LLC doing business as Halo Moon located at 88 Beach Street. Has petition to transfer the license and the location from the above to Food Opera Inc. doing business as Food Opera located at 81 to 83A Essex Street. Closing hour 2 AM. Desmond Sinley Chang, manager.
I vote to approve the transfer and Mr. Chang as the manager of record. I believe he's the appropriate character and fitness. And I would also request that the licensee, should this be voted through today, submit a written plan as to how they're going to deal with delivery and third-party apps.
I agree.
Item 13, Tavitas South Station LLC doing business as Tavitas located at 1 South Station. Has petitioned to transfer the license and the location from the above to the Dot Restaurant LLC doing business as the Dorchester located at 1121 Dorchester Ave in Dorchester. Closing hour 2 AM. Giuseppe Arcari, manager.
I vote to approve the transfer and Mr. Akari, I think, is already an approved manager of record by this board. And again, it was confusing from the testimony about whether or not the easement for deliveries was for like deliveries to the restaurant or if it was for third-party app deliveries. So I'm also going to request that they submit a written plan. So we have that should they decide to do third-party apps.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 14, Good Tacos LLC doing business as Naco Taco and Good Company located at 100 Hood Park Drive in Charlestown. Has applied for a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above. Manager Seth Freitas, closing time 2 AM.
I vote to approve Mr. Freitas as the manager of record. I believe he has the appropriate character and fitness. As far as the liquor license, should one become available for which they qualify, I would vote to approve it, granted pending availability.
I agree.
Agree as well.
Item 15 had been previously approved by this board and was correcting a legal defect in the advertising. And item 16 has been continued to the March 29th transactional hearing. Moving on to non-hearing transactions, the following are applying for a new common victular license at a previously licensed location. Item 1, G&V Cambridge Street Restaurant Inc. doing business as Shah's Halal Food, located at 106 to 120 Cambridge Street. Niral Patel, manager of record, hours of operation 11 AM to 11 PM.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
Item 2, Christina Kanjay doing business as Frite Restaurant located at 660A Center Street in Jamaica Plain. David Kanjay, manager of record, hours of operation 7 AM to 10 PM.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
Item 3, Cajun Window LLC doing business as Cajun Window located at 400 Neponset Ave in Dorchester. Lock Wynn, manager of record, hours of operation Monday to Saturday, 11 AM to 9 PM.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
Item 4, Bangkok Bento LLC doing business as Bangkok Bento Thai Kitchen and Sushi Bar located at 272A Newbury Street. Adesorn Sakara, manager of record, hours of operation 11:30 AM to 10:30 PM.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
Following have applied to make changes to their existing common victular licenses. Item 1, Matsunori Inc. doing business as Matsunori Hand Roll Bar located at 900 Beacon Street has petitioned to change their hours of operation to Monday through Sunday, 11 AM to 10:30 PM.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
Item 2, Whole Foods Market Group Inc. doing business as Whole Foods Market located at 181 Cambridge Street has petitioned to change the manager to Matthew Hebert.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
And item 3, ABP Corporation doing business as Aubon Pan located at 133 Brookline Ave has petitioned to change the officer and change the manager to Thomas Dolan, secretary and manager.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree.
Following have applied for a 1-day amendment to their existing license. Item 1, Mass Bay Brewing Company Inc. doing business as Harpoon Brewery located at 306 Northern Ave has applied for a 1-day amendment to include the parking surrounding the brewery. will be defined by a fence, have controlled entrance and exit for the Harpoon Brewery's 30th annual St. Patrick's Day Festival on March 3rd and 4th, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. on the 3rd and 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the 4th.
I vote to approve.
I do as well.
And item 2, Charles River Speedway doing business as the Charles River Speedway located at 1420 to 1440 Soldiers Field Road in Brighton has applied for a one-day amendment to their existing license to include an extension down to Garage B for a movie night on February 23rd from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
And the board has before them a list of applications for special one-day alcohol licenses, which have been administratively reviewed by staff and approved by the board. And we have no items on old and new business this week. So that is all of the items before the board today. Thank you, everyone. That will adjourn this morning's hearing.
Thank you.
You.